Thank you for joining me today. I'd like to start with a brief background about us. Information Imaging's mission is to help businesses and organizations of all sizes and across all industries implement technologies that enhance productivity, provide immediate and secure access to records, protect vital business information, and provide an incredible return on investment, ROI, that is measurable and immediate. i2i specializes in document and content management solutions, paperless workflow processes, scanners, and other related products and services to our clients. We are all about providing solutions, not just software. But this presentation today is not about us. My goal for this presentation is to identify and discuss the 6 serious challenges most businesses face today in the area of document and records management, including how much it consumes in valuable time and resources, and how they may be affecting your business. As I mentioned, we have found that there are at least 6 serious challenges that most businesses face today. I'd like to review them with you so that you might consider how they impact you, or your company, or people you may know. Challenge 1. Technology changes have created more disorganization. All of the advances in technology have created so many places and portals for where our information gets created and stored that, most of the time, it is not in one convenient system where everything can be accessed in mere seconds. Files and electronic records easily get lost or forgotten about, and you typically have to search all of those areas to pull together a truly complete record when needed. Some typical questions you might ask yourself are, do we currently store and maintain records in numerous places? If so, where are all of those locations, and how are they accessed and secured? Are they in file cabinets, sitting on desks, in email accounts, folders on computers or in the cloud, vendor or service providers' online portals like banking and utility bills, your voicemail system, and perhaps off-site storage facilities or other places you might think of? The business world continues to change, and the means by which we acquire, create, communicate, and store information has multiplied. If we look back to less than 20 years ago, most information was in one place, file cabinets. But today, information, or content as we refer to it, is more difficult to manage because it exists in numerous places. Let's begin by looking at the 4 main categories of content. Business process platforms are line-of-business software applications and where a great deal of documents are created. Documents such as sales orders, quotes, receipts, or other transactional documents and forms. Typically, they are being printed out on your local printers at great expense and then being handled by your staff. Locally created information are those types of records that are being created, printed, and even stored on individual users' computers. It includes documents or files created by other software or technologies like Microsoft Word docs or Excel spreadsheets, email accounts, digital photos, and, increasingly today, voicemail messages in many businesses. Cloud and hosted solutions can include everything from online file sharing repositories like Dropbox, OneDrive, and Google Docs, to electronic invoicing and payment portals, payroll processing services, social media, blogs, and much more. One report stated that in 2014 alone, it was estimated that as many as 10 billion online records were abandoned. Sometimes it's as simple as people simply losing track of where they stored their files, especially if they are or have been using multiple file sharing or cloud storage sites, or they forgot to move them to the new provider if they changed who that is. Much of the time, those files are simply forgotten about over time, or the service provider deletes them after a certain period of time. While a lot of it may be things like family photos, video clips, or non-critical documents, billions of those records are important business and personal records. Paper-based information is, of course, all of those records that still exist in paper form, such as files in file cabinets, incoming faxes, mail being received daily, and other types of forms or documents that your staff finds themselves handling on a daily basis. Well, this slide speaks for itself. Most people can relate to the challenge that dealing with so many types and locations of records creates. It can be said that managing business records is a lot like herding cats. However, Businesses that don't maintain all of the necessary records, as described on the previous slides, are at risk. Over the next couple of slides, I want to describe some of the other challenges most businesses encounter in today's environment. Challenge 2. Cohesive records management for the entire business. All businesses need to have great record-keeping solutions and practices for all of their vital records. And, regardless of what type of business that is, we all have the same common things to maintain. That includes customer files, employee and vendor records, contracts and agreements, banking and tax records, and any other document or file associated with the business. Sound easy? But the reality is that it's actually become harder and more time-consuming for most businesses because of the sheer volume and variety of information. As previously mentioned, vital records are not just in paper form. They exist in many types of electronic files and forms today, and are typically not in just one place. More than ever, it is becoming crucially important to have a solid, easy-to-use centralized system that provides total control and security. And we all know, if it's not easy, it won't be used. Challenge 3. Cost and profitability. The cost of running just about every business continues to rise. Competition squeezes your profitability, and these issues can't be solved without effective solutions in place. Sure, you could throw even more man-hours at the problem, or you can look to solutions that reduce hours and labor costs spent on non-productive tasks and free up time to focus on sales and revenue-building activities. We will talk more about that in a few minutes. Where most businesses encounter pain today is in the demands on the staff's time to perform a variety of document-related tasks. Tasks such as creating, printing, copying, faxing, filing, mailing or emailing, retrieving, and the time it takes to move around the office doing all of these things is not very productive time, is it? And that has actually been increasing over the past few years rather than decreasing. In the current business and economic environment, many businesses are doing more administrative work than ever before. Industry studies report the typical percentage of time is between 35 to 50% of each day. Our job is to identify these workflow bottlenecks in businesses and recommend solutions that reduce the amount of time and effort it takes to perform these administrative tasks. We provide this through a creation to completion process review and analysis, which we do for free. Challenge 4. Data protection and disaster recovery. It's more important than ever to protect vital business records from unauthorized access or disastrous loss. Given all of the types of information and records you maintain, and how many locations those records may be stored in, it is imperative to have effective processes and plans in place that enable you to quickly recover in the event of a disastrous loss. Some of the key questions you might ask yourself are: do our current processes support being able to securely archive and access our records using a singular, centralized content management solution? Can we securely access those records from virtually anywhere and from almost any device? What processes do we utilize to back up all of our vital business records on all of our computers and devices now? Challenge 5. Compliance. Government requirements for record keeping are becoming more expansive, intrusive, and demanding about what you maintain, who has access to it, and how long you maintain those records for, even for non-regulated industries. Just in the past couple of years, government mandates and requirements for healthcare, Department of Labor rulings on how we track and even compensate hourly and salaried workers, updated banking and investment rules, as well as directives on maintaining various types of documentation and notifications, have impacted even the smallest business. Some key questions related to this topic are: do you have special requirements for document retention, such as government or regulatory compliance? If so, what types of records are you required to maintain where such regulations exist? Are there minimum retention periods for those records? Do your current processes for maintaining records limit and track who accesses specific files? Can you produce an electronic audit trail of all files accessed, and what actions were performed? What specific areas of your business are affected by those requirements? And then there's this one. Challenge 6. The threat of litigation. The threat and reality of being sued for almost anything is altering how Americans go about their business. Knowing that you're right is good, but proving you're right is the challenge. According to the National Federation of Independent Businesses, more than 15 million lawsuits get filed against businesses in the U.S. each year. Yet according to the Small Business and Entrepreneurship Council, there are just under 6 million businesses with employees and another 22 million self-employed or home-based businesses in the United States. So, just looking at the numbers of lawsuits versus number of businesses, the odds are not in your favor. According to an article by Basha Rubin, published by Forbes on July 14, 2014, statistics show that somewhere between 36 to 53% of small businesses are involved in at least one litigation in any given year, and 90% of all businesses are engaged in litigation at any given time. At some point, it'll likely be you and your business in the trenches. And by the way, these numbers don't include the millions of audits, inspections, and compliance reviews that are performed by governmental or regulatory bodies each year, as also referred to back on Challenge 5, compliance. The situation today is one that requires, as good business practice and defensive policy, that you maintain thorough record-keeping processes. So, in circling back on the importance of this topic, keep in mind what we discussed earlier about all of the types and places where information is created and stored. Virtually all of that information is deemed as vital or important business records today, and subject to discovery in litigation. You also may have legal exposure and risk for any information that is not retained or properly secured. Are you using best practices to secure and protect that information? Does any of it contain sensitive or private data, like Social Security number, credit card, or medical info? Do you have an electronic audit trail of who accesses that information? These are but a few of the questions that need to be considered given today's litigious society. But the last question that I would like to leave you with today is, do you feel having a solution that addresses all of the issues raised in this presentation would be complicated to use, expensive, or time-consuming? If so, then you will definitely be pleasantly surprised when you learn more about our solutions. We truly appreciate the time you gave us today and believe there are many areas in which our solutions can help just about any business or organization of any size. Information Imaging is a solution-driven company built around providing document and content management solutions that can streamline current processes, consolidate records management, enhance security, and provide an immediate return on investment. In fact, for most of our customers, the cost of running their business actually goes down, and their peace of mind goes up. Please contact us to learn more about how we can help you. Thank you.